know what you're thinking. You're going, what is this pre-show? It's just to let you know that if you're watching on any of the other platforms out there that you shouldn't be, like Glenn Beck, who has his own company, who said, YouTube's demonetized us. You should help us. Why? You got your own company. Why do you need YouTube? I don't understand that one, Glenn. But anyways, this is the Rants of Izzo show, and if you're watching on one of these other platforms, we stream the first few minutes of the show on the platform. So you get a little tease. You get to dip your toes in the water a little bit. And if you want the rest of it, you have to go to Spreely.com. Spreely.com. You could sign up for our social media there, which is full free speech. You could say whatever you want. I don't care. You could say Michelle Obama's got a big old cock, and no one's going to say anything because it's not offensive if it's true. You can download our app off of Spreely.com. You can go to rantsofizzo.com, watch the show, get involved with the chat as well, too. Just do that as well because we could see that during the show. Well, we're live in 2 minutes here on Spreely.com. Kids, 1 minute live. You're going to be able to watch us for a few minutes on the other social media inferior channels, but if you want the entire content of the show, go to Spreely.com. You can download the app for your phone. You can watch us from your laptop, desktop, in the bathtub, on your iPad, whatever. I don't really want. You want to get all soapy and shit, have at it. Enjoy it. But, you know, you're only going to get a little bit. Over in the chat, it's good to see Bev, Sarah, April, Shown. It is gravy. It's not sauce. Thank you. Anybody who says, like, well, it's red, so it's sauce, there's no meat in it. No, when you make your gravy for Sunday, you put sausage and neck bones in it. There's the meat. I don't know why people have such a hard time with this. All right, let's do a show here. Spreely.com. But, you know, you're only going to get a little bit. Oh.
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your hosts, Dominick Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
All right, we're back at it. Wednesday edition here of the Rants of Izzo show on Spreely Media. All things Spreely, Spreely.com, including a fantastic social media platform where if you're tired of being censored by garbage shit. Like I had I had two comments the other day where I went to praise Eric Worre, who's a network marketing expert. Eric Worre, a lot of people know him, and I actually challenged one of the statements he said. Like in business, it's like the real like successful people in network marketing, MLM, you know, the pyramid scam that we all do. They've collected more friendships than money, and I said no. That's actually the worst philosophy for any kind of business, because anybody who's ever done business with their friends knows that you get fucked over. You should be doing it for money. And Instagram said I was bullying and harassing. So if you want to bully, if you want to harass, go to Spreely.com. It's a great place to wind up saying whatever the hell you want, and you won't get censored. Co-piloting with me today, driving the big bus, is Maddie Wack from the Burn Pit Podcast. Happy Wednesday, dude. How the hell are you?
Good, man. How you doing, Dominic? How you been?
I can't complain. It's a little bit sunny out here today. It's about 50 degrees, Chicago area. Granted, we have migrant crisis going like crazy. The black community is outraged because they can't believe that their resources would ever go to anybody except for them because it's Black History Month. How dare we all?
Yeah.
And thank God I live 20 minutes away from the city and I'm a suburb guy.
Yeah.
Matt, I want to go a direction here today, and I want to play a clip. Nikki Haley, this was at a press conference she had. I don't know, it could have been yesterday. I just want to play this. It's a couple minutes of something she says, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm definitely going to give my opinion, and I want to see if we align on this. Let's all watch and listen together here.
Okay.
Let's finally leave the past behind, and let's forge a new American future. This vision has guided every generation. It summoned me to serve as governor of this great state and as ambassador for the greatest country in the world. And that same vision called my husband to serve in the uniform of the United States. He's a major in the South Carolina Army National Guard. As I prepare for what lies ahead, Michael is at the forefront of my mind.
Oh, God, I can't take this.
I wish Michael was here today, and I wish our children and I could see him tonight, but we can't. He's serving on the other side of the world, where conflict is the norm, where terrorists hide among the innocent, where Iran's terrorist proxies are now attacking American troops. This is Michael's second deployment. It was hard for us to say goodbye to him the first time when he deployed to Afghanistan. It was even harder last summer when he deployed to Africa.
I have two questions. Number one, I didn't know, can our National Guard be deployed overseas, or are they supposed to? Okay,
Yes.
I never knew that.
Well, they're part of the United States military. I mean, they can be activated here in the United States by a governor in their state, and they can even be federalized and activated within the United States by the U.S. president under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 of the Constitution. Now, that says the militia, but there are no more state militias anymore. They got morphed into the National Guard. So now they're the National Guard, and they can be deployed overseas as well as like backup forces, auxiliary units overseas for whatever they want, because they do, again, they are part of the U.S. military.
Here's my second question. Am I an ass for seeing that display of feminist bullshit and saying I do not want a woman president ever? I don't. I'm sorry. I'm all for feel good moments. I'm all for missing your family. I'm all for this stuff. But I don't want somebody who's going to run and lead this nation breaking down at something like that. That to me, that's indicative of women are highly emotional. This is my opinion. It's not yours. It's women are highly emotional. They cannot contain themselves many times. They're irrational when it comes down to logic. Again, these are my words, not Maddie Wack's. I'll obviously let him talk. I don't want a woman president, and she just solidified it even more. I don't want women in that position of power.
Yeah, well, you make some good points, and women are more emotional creatures, that's for sure. I will say, however, men are becoming more and more emotional and emasculated in that aspect as well, as we currently go down this, road of cultural disintegration in our country. But that being said, I agree with you. However, here's how I see this particular situation with her. I believe she's just putting on an act. I don't think she's being emotional. I think she's putting on an act in front of the camera. That's just my opinion. I don't know what's in her heart. I can't read her mind, but from the looks of it, because she is a politician and the way modern politics is the way it is in today's culture, she's putting on an act and she really doesn't feel bad at all.
The rumor is too, her husband's real name is William, but just recently, I guess she had said his middle name is Michael, but she stated that he doesn't look like a William, he looks like a Michael. So he started.
What the hell does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either. But here's my deal, and I've never been overseas. I don't even know your background. Did you ever serve in the military? Or
I did not. No, I did not serve in the military. No.
Yeah,
I want to make sure everyone asks me that. I want to make clear that I never have served in the U.S. military. No.
That's my biggest regret in life, was never joining the Marines. I was too much of a pussy to do so, and I talk about that all the time, and I have regrets over that. But I would, okay, sans joining the military, I still don't have any concept or what it's like to deal with foreign leadership. I mean, I clearly know I've spoken to, and I've known men and women who are here from other cultures, and there is a strong concept of who the man is, who the woman is, what their roles are in business relationships, all this. Do you think that the United States is ready to deal with other countries and leaders who do not view women as equals yet?
Well, they've been doing it for a while now, right? I mean, this isn't really anything new. I mean, you had Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, you have Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice under George Bush. You know, even Margaret Thatcher was a prime minister of Great Britain in the 80s. So women have been in leading roles in government for a long time. I mean, you had queens, right? Queen Isabella of Spain. You had multiple different monarchs who were females that people dealt with. So I guess it's been going on for a long time, but you are correct in this aspect. You do have cultures that don't respect women in that role, and a lot of Middle Eastern cultures are like that, right?
Yep.
I don't even know if they have the right to vote in most of those countries. I haven't looked into the laws of certain Middle Eastern countries and if females are allowed to vote, but I think me and you both know that females in a lot of these Middle Eastern countries definitely have limited rights as opposed to what men do. So that amount of respect, they probably don't gain the amount of respect in those particular regions as they do in other Western countries.
Yeah, everyone you mentioned too, maybe even some degree to Margaret Thatcher, who could have relied on the U.S. They always had a male president to back them up, though. If you look, I remember that the quid pro quo Joe Biden said, where he talked about withholding the billions from Ukraine, and well, you can't do that. The president, I said, well, get him on the phone. Joe Biden even had the ability to fall back on Barack Obama. How many of these other females, including Hillary Clinton, had a male president to back up their threats or promises? So again, and not for nothing either, I don't like Hillary Clinton. I don't know her, never met her, never shook her hand. I'm not going to lie. I respect Hillary Clinton for the simple reason that, just like her, even, and I'll give Schwarzenegger as an example. He was a hero growing up, but the second he pulled that "screw your freedoms" shit, I mean, that just ruined everything. You have a man who came to the United States, who had the shittiest English on the planet. He was a bodybuilder, which was just mocked at massively in the 60s and 70s. He became the #1 bodybuilder of all time. Then he moved into friggin' movies. He married into American royalty, got into politics, won the largest state governor's position, then went back into movies. I mean, he is the epitome of American dream, and there's a lot of people who hate him. You can't get to his position without upsetting people and stepping on people. The same thing with Hillary Clinton. I respect Hillary Clinton because she's a ruthless bitch. And to be at the top of your game, you can't be all sunshine and rainbows. You're going to get walked all over. That's in any business whatsoever. I don't see Nikki Haley being taken seriously like Hillary Clinton. I think Hillary Clinton was fucking ruthless, and I think she could have done what she wanted to do. I do not see Nikki Haley. I don't see any other female candidate even coming close in the next few years to Hillary Clinton's ability. And that's another reason why I just don't want a female in office.
Yeah. Again,
it's a rough subject today.
Differently, and not that you're not. I'm not saying you're wrong. Every president, no matter if they're a man or a woman, or a governor is a man or a woman, they all have people behind them to either control them, tell what they do. I like to use the word handlers. Again, the people who get them elected, the financiers, the lobbying groups. Those are and again, this is my opinion, but I base it off of all the facts throughout history. These are the people who tell them what to do. So being ruthless, I mean, Hillary's going to be told what to do. She's going to, she was never president. Okay, she was just Secretary of State. But there's things that she is going to be told what to do by their handlers, okay, by other people in the administration, other groups and agencies. So that being said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, I think, women in that role definitely are emotional, but I don't think they have as much power, anybody in that position, president, anybody. They don't have as much power as we think they have to begin with. So being ruthless or not, I just don't think it really matters. They're not the ones calling the shots. When it really comes down to important issues, they're not the ones that call the shots. So in my opinion, I don't think it even matters.
I'm right there with you too. I just think that it's a perception's reality. And sadly, most people think like me, and that's that surface area stuff. I talk about it all the time. I was never political when I was younger. And the first time Mitt Romney ran, I think he primaried against John McCain.
Yep.
And I'll never forget it. People were like, who are you going to vote for, this and that? I'm like, well, I like this Mitt Romney dude, not knowing anything about his politics whatsoever. And when people asked me flat out, why are you choosing him? I flat out said, because he looks the most presidential. Yep. That's it. And I think it's where we are in America. It's embarrassing, but I have no problem admitting, I have no problem admitting I was a huge Obama fan in 2008. I believed everything that came out of his mouth. So there's a level of charisma, a level of daddyism, and unfortunately we got the daddy Trump shit right now that I just can't get behind. I don't know. You've seen obviously in the news Trump's decisions against him in New York. Can't do business there for 3 years, $345 million fine that could incur interest. Do you see this as the beginning of the end of our legal system? Or
I think the beginning of the end happened a long time ago. Again, I am a student of history, and I know what has happened throughout the last 150 years. And the beginning of the end happened during the Civil War, in my opinion. And again, I encourage everybody to look it up. I mean, you had rights taken away. I mean, Supreme Court justices bought and paid for, federal judges, local judges, state judges. I mean, it's just the deterioration of our legal system is deplorable. Now, we're supposed to have a country that is based off of law and order. And I believe now we're at the point to where it's overwhelmingly only done so when it's politically correct to do so. So we have a pretense of law and order and not much of a pretense at that. Again, you had laws that are broken every day. You're a police officer, Dom. You were a law enforcement agent. And God bless you for it. This is what attracted me to start listening to you. Is the first time I heard you talk, it was you were coming down on police officers who were violating the law, depriving constitutional rights, violating constitutional rights. Like, you can't do this. And this has been going on forever. It's just worse now, right? Because the legal system is just about a political correctness. It's about social justice, not actual justice. So at the beginning of the end, I mean, I think it happened a long time ago. I just think it's with the way media is, I think we're seeing it more now. And I believe a lot of this is just theater. I think Trump is going to appeal this decision. Obviously, there'll be a retrial or whatever. I think he'll appeal it. But again, he gets that victim mentality, or he gets that victimization card. Now he's a victim, and now his base is going to support him even more because, look what the left is doing to him. They're attacking him. We got to support him even harder. I think this helps him more than it hurts him.
It does. And the sad thing is people don't understand how dangerous what that judge did in both cases with his New York case and with that E. Jean Carroll. As a cop, it's easy. It is insanely easy to pull someone over and then make up the probable cause as you're walking to the car. People do not know how dangerous they have it in their cities, and the biggest problem I have is that with this decision, I don't know all the minutia of what the Trump case was for fraud.
Me neither.
Yeah, right. And so many people, like, I'm going to go off the people who know more than I do. So I listened to Patrick Bet-David. He said there was no crime. I listened to Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He's not going to do business in New York ever again because of this. So if they're saying that there was no crime, I'm going to go off of them because finances is not my expertise. But I do know law enforcement, and I do know manipulation, and I know that the analogy I gave somebody the other day was, if I go to Jewel, which is a grocery store chain out here in my area, it's just a Chicago staple, okay. And I go and I have everything on the top of my cart, and I go to self-scan, but I have a gallon of milk on the bottom of the cart that I didn't pay for, and I walk out the door, and a clerk stops me and says, "Hey, sir, you didn't pay for that milk. I didn't see you scan it." He knows I'm not trying to rob the store. He knows I just forgot. I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, you know what? I'm going to go pay for it. Now I pay for it. Everything's done, right? Yep. They see me twice a week. Nothing happens. A guy who happens to own a grocery store down the road sees this happen, or anybody else, right? John Q. Public sees this happen, sits on this, waits 5 years, goes to the Hoffman Estates Police Department and says, this is a crime that happened 5 years ago. Some cop goes, yeah, I'm going to go get a warrant. A warrant is issued. A judge then sits there and sentences me and makes me pay a fine. It's like no crime happened. That people don't get, as extreme as that analogy is, it's going to empower your police and your prosecutors. We have in New York, I don't know what the DA's name is there, but she campaigned on going after Trump, which blows me away considering the fact all the violence, all the shootings, all the carjackings, you think your local citizens are worried about Trump versus the crap that goes on in their daily lives. So again, the problem I have with this E.G. Carroll crap and the 30 years later, or the there is no crime and let's punish him anyways, is people don't get you are giving carte blanche for some cop who has no idea what the Constitution is to pull you over, walk up and go, Mr. Weck, your license and insurance, please. You give it to him. Then based on your attitude, because you're not talking to him, which still blows. It's a completely different conversation today. You're not talking to him. You give him attitude, which is your constitutional right. He goes back and writes you a ticket for everything, not for your tire touched the yellow line, but all right, now he sees that you've got a sticker obstructing your windshield and you weren't wearing your seatbelt. He's going to write you the book. People do not get how easy it is for cops to be backed up based on just the facts and evidence they see. And this shit, what just happened, it's going to solidify it even more. Yeah.
Well, again, this is called, what I would like to call, Dominic, is called tyranny, right? This is oppression and tyranny. This is not constitutional. This is not the government that we set up back in 1789, right? This is not the same country constitutionally. So I've never seen every